Rare at all. It's actually very common, you know. But you know, I'm a drummer. Some people describe me as an athlete, the way I play drums. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you can tell my drums.
You hit the button. I ain't never heard anybody say that before.
You know what I'm saying? Athlete.
You know what I'm saying? That's a talent.
You know, I got my doctor told me, she said, if you play like this, you need to be training.
I don't think he played drums like that, bro.
I know, but damn, that's all I had, bro. We need to get him to do a sample.
It's all good. It's all good.
You got this.
But yeah, I mean, I learned all my north side-ness from this guy right here. You know, when he moved off to college at 18, I became the drummer of the church when I was 11. You know what I'm saying? So that's really been my whole everything, my whole life.
Prodigy, you would say.
What church was it?
Grace Temple Deliverance Center over
South. One of the greatest production places of great people.
And now my last name is Buckner. I'm a part of the Buckner Battle clan. The Battles is a heavy name in the Church of God in Christ. It's a heavy name here in the Twin Cities. Yeah. But I'm the North Side Buckners.
That's right.
They was kind of some bullies, low key, but I'm changing the whole narrative, the whole family name. You feel me? Yeah. But yeah, I play drums. I'm a teaching artist. I teach.
All right.
So yeah.
Also a father,
a husband, and that's really the priority. Like me even being laid out right now, I'm just like, all right, cool, back to the crib.
That's right.
Like, you know what? Was at Shabbat. You know, Shabbat dinner.
I like that.
So are you also practicing Judaism or you're Christian?
No, I'm a believer, but I really I'm on a search. I got questions that need answers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a lifelong journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is what you do when you get the answers.
Yeah.
Cognitive dissonance, how one responds when confronted with information different than what they believe to be true. That is the whole precipice, which is why I keep imposing. If people would reflect and say, you're under the regime of those that intended to try to tell you what, where, when, why, how.
Right.
So anything you come into that's different than that, how you respond to that is going to determine whether or not you can be free. Interesting thing, Passover, which is like the beginning of, they say it was the beginning of the Exodus out of Egypt. At the Passover Seder, Seder is Hebrew for order, we drink 4 cups of wine over the course of that, where we remember coming out of Egypt in enslavement and traveling into the desert towards freedom. First cup of wine is for removal of physical slavery, l'chaim. Second cup of wine, removal of mental slavery, l'chaim. Third cup of wine, removal of spiritual slavery, l'chaim. But there's 4 cups. So what could a 4th cup be? The 4th cup is to rebind yourself to a servant of God, because if you remove a slave from slavery, that doesn't make him free.
Right.
He simply will go be a slave to whatever comes across his past neck.
Wow.
But to choose to then be a slave to God, I'm now free from everything else, and no one else can enslave me in any way, tell me who I am, what I am, where I am, right? So that's really the energy, and I really believe in me coming back from Jerusalem. I moved to Jerusalem 2017. He asked me my intro, I kind of just jumped in there. But in coming back home, because I'm like, man, what could be better than walking around the streets in Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying, running the town with my guys and learning all day with wise sages. But I came back to bring the word to the hood and to really help the people through kosher food, Shabbat, champagne, whatever it may be, to help them see, hey, man, don't you want to be free? We still in the prison. Don't you want to be free? And what does that mean? What does that look like? You know what I mean?
See, you said something yesterday. You was just like, you know what, if black folks really got in line with Judaism, like all the race issues, like it will be over with. Because like the first threat you say, you was like, wait, well, are you being anti-Semitic? You know, the companies flinch at that. Are you infringing on my religious freedom? Because never mind being black, because anybody gonna flinch at that. But you said, are you infringing upon my religious rights? Everybody want.
I want kosher food. I need this day off for Rosh Hashanah. I need this off for Shabbat. Any issues, you already got allies ready to turn them up. African Americans have no allies. There's no nation that's willing to go to war or economically press pressure on somebody on behalf of black folks. That's not even a place or a thing. And we don't even understand in the dichotomy that African Americans are different than Africans in Egypt, Africans in Europe or Africans anywhere places, right? So no allyship, no resources, no military base, and no real judicial efficacy, because you're enacting an identity that's chattel. That's the identity that was given to you as property. So you keep arguing on property while on human rights. It won't even work on paper.
So,
Crazy.
so what you're saying? Judaism should be an African, just black folks in general around the world should find a pathway to Judaism because that's a better ally for us, or we should, or Judaism? Are you looking? Because when I look at Judaism, I look at it beyond what, how can I say this? I know it's a ancient thing. It goes way back. And I know when you get ancient, it gets darker and darker and darker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I know that people who say the mainstream may consider Jews look at you and you say, yeah, I'm a Jew. And they're like, no, I'm a real Jew. You understand? So how do you, I guess my question is, how do you face that dichotomy then? You being a black African American, and people may look at you as, well, how are you a real Jew?
Right. So a few things, as I keep saying, there's God, there's everything else. So I don't accept any identity about myself that God didn't give me. Okay. So I don't consider myself black, African American, any of those things. I understand in conversation, we have to use those terms. I'm a child of God. I'm an Israelite, you know what I'm saying? And that's my identity.
A Hebrew Israelite?
Well, I mean, that's even a different term. The first person was Avram HaIvri, and HaIvri meant one who crossed over. The whole world was in idol worship. Avram was like, man, I'm on the other side of y'all then. I'm over here. That's where it first came up. We just finished the last parsha in Breshit, or the last section in Genesis, and Yehuda, of the 12 tribes, the 12 sons of Jacob, was told he would then be kind of the kingship, the malchus, by which the nation carried on. And so that's why people didn't be called Yehudim, or, as things evolved, because there's no J's in Hebrews, then, Jews. Mordechai Yehudi was the first time that was kind of enacted in the story of Purim and Esther. So Hebrew Israelites, again, they'll keep trying to add little things to get you off and water down and all that. I'm gonna keep mine all the way with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going with the biblical thing. Now, in terms of what other people think or feel, there's the thing they say in Nigeria, how does this concern me?
So hold up. So you differentiate yourself from the Hebrew Israelites?
I differentiate myself from anything other than God direct. I'm not here to hang out with people. I'm not here to make new friends. I'm not here to try to see if somebody will accept me. I'm from over north, 2923 Fremont, born and raised, you know what I'm saying? And I went from there to Jerusalem with citizenship. And I don't know anyone in the world that I knew that had done that before. So how did I do that?
Yeah.
I simply blindly followed God and was unwilling to accept any other outcome or identity that anyone gave upon me. God's the boss, everyone else is co-workers. So I believe that the people that have a certain affinity in their heart to serve God should follow the Torah. Judaism is the religious terming of the construct of an aggregation of people that have been popularized and commoditized. That's cool.
All right.
The Torah and God gonna get you there, though.
So how did you handle that if somebody did kind of, approach you with that type
Like you said, I want to go beat them up in the bathroom, but I'm on this program. I'm on this program. You know what I'm saying?
Make a lot of sense.
And ultimately, God gonna reward me. Like there's so many. See, our people are deficient of exclusive and executive knowledge and instruction. So all day I study, like the books we was reading, Paleo, it's on Shabbat. If you get concepts in your mind, you have to think about this. Mm-hmm. What other people do you know that are or pre-wired with a self-sabotage switch? A guy from the hood will make it out, make some dollars, and then self-destruct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's no other even group of people that have that wired in there, I'm about to crash out. There's no other people that have that even in their system.
They bragging about it.
How would I be somewhere and make it out, but I'm willing to go back to prove something in a construct where did I get that from?
Right.
And it had to have been given to me by the people that brought me here and don't want me to leave.
It's psychological warfare. I'll say that there's a reason.